The era of MKLeo's dominance is over. July of 2023, after an entire season of MKLeo only winning two big events, and then him not winning Smash Factor, to me, in my mind, shows that this is no longer MKLeo's game or MKLeo's dominance. It's really weird to say that. It's really weird to think that, because literally every tournament MKLeo is at, I just think, oh, well, like, MKLeo could just win. He could just win. He's probably just gonna win. Because throughout the entire existence of Smash Ultimate, there is at least like a 50% or greater chance that Leo's going to win a tournament. For a while, it was definitely greater than that, maybe like 80, 90%. And then after lockdown, it was around 50 to 60%, you know, as he was going back and forth with Tweak, and Akola started to do better, and Light has done really well. And then I took a set from him, or a tournament from him. You know, it was definitely apparent that Leo could win anything, but he just wasn't, but like he could, right? As 2022 rolled on, we saw that Leo just wins sometimes. He won, you know, Ludwig Smash Invitational with zero issue because he wanted to try, and we had that whole thing of, oh, he's the best by far. He won Genesis at the beginning of this season, and we all thought, okay, yeah, Leo's back. Leo's in the meta, because at the end of 2022, it was actually more like a 50% chance he would win an event. He would win an event and lose an event, and win an event and lose an event, and win an event and lose an event, basically throughout the entirety of 2022, which is still way better than literally everyone else, maybe not named Akola, because he's winning every event in Japan for the most part. Although now that's not even true, because Mia wins a lot of events. So Leo was still clearly in the, like, absolutely the conversation for the best player in the world. He was the best player in 2022, and then 2023 rolled around and he won Genesis, and we thought, oh yeah, Leo's just gonna win some events and lose some events and win some events and lose some events. And the problem is, this year he won an event and didn't top 8 an event, didn't top 8 another event, top 8 an event, but didn't win. He didn't win another event after Genesis until Wave Dash over Sonics in June. Leo had the longest drought of a tournament win that he has ever experienced, ever. And I really thought that Smash Factor X, you know, Smash Factor was always a tournament that no matter how poorly he was doing at the previous events, he would go Joker or go whoever he wanted and win the event clean. Last year, he destroyed DeBuzz in Grand Finals, and there was a lot of good competition there, including Sonics and Siski and Shiny Mark and Spargo, I'm pretty sure was there, and there were so many good players, and Leo didn't care, and he destroyed everyone. But this year, it was looking like that, right? I mean, he was going Joker all through pools and all through like top bracket, whatever, and he got to top 8 winners, I think losing only one game. It was very apparent that Leo was still there. But Leo right now doesn't exist as the best player in the world. He exists as a top 5 to 10 threat, so he's able to do really well versus a lot of players, and it's still Leo, of course, he's an amazing player. But then Spargo beat him. Spargo, you know, arguably the best player in the world right now. A lot of people consider him the best player in the world, and Spargo 3-0'd him. And then losers bracket, Gluto got him with a Nair Waft confirm at like 18, because welcome to Wario in this game. And Gluto's had a very strong record versus him recently, and Spargo's had a very strong record versus him recently, especially after major upset. And it's just very odd to not assume that Leo's going to win an event. And of course, I want to be very clear, right? Leo's playing right now and Leo's placements right now makes everyone not in the top 10 jealous, right? Like, Leo has still won a super major this year and won a different major this year, and is constantly in the conversation of probably going to get top 8 and maybe getting 9th to some amazing players, and he's always going to do very well, right? Leo's still an amazing player, and I don't want this to be confused, right? Like, I would love to be placing how Leo's placing right now. It would make me feel so good. It would be the peak of my career. Like, Leo's current placement would literally be the highlight of the majority of players' careers. But because Leo has such an unimaginably amazing career, right? The undeniable GOAT of Smash Ultimate until 2023, like, clearly the #1 player, no argument, not even like, you can't even pretend to argue against him in good faith, because it was clearly just wrong. But it is just absolutely wild to me that there are so many people that are keeping Leo from winning majors. We have Gluttony beating him, we have Spargo beating him, we have Akola beating him, we have Sonics beating him recently, right? Players like Zomba are beating Leo, players like Jackal, players like Light. I mean, again, all these are amazing players, right? And there's no shame in that. But the problem with Leo currently is that he would lose to someone like Kamame at Evo and then go through a 17 bracket, and that's an exaggeration, like a 10-set losers run and win the event dominantly. Or he would just win an event dominantly with no issue, or he would lose in winner's semis and bring the event back. I mean, that's what happened at Genesis, right? I mean, he lost in winners finals to Mutes, and then barely beat Light in losers with the reverse 3-0, and he reverse 3-0'd Sonics earlier in that tournament, and he was just able to stay consistent, right? If you look at Leo's, results, he just hasn't been the same Leo. And again, this current Leo is still amazing, godlike, top 10 clearly, but he's just not the unequivocal, undeniable best player in the world anymore. The amount of players that are giving Leo a consistent hard time are just growing. You have Spargo, you have the Pikachu players, you have Riddles, you have Zomba, you have Acola. I mean, it was just they played like the once, but now you have Sonics, you have Light, you have Gluttony. Like, there are so many players recently that have been doing incredibly well versus MKLeo, to the point where he's not necessarily favored in those sets. And would we be surprised if Leo won the set? Absolutely not. It's still Leo, right? Like, Leo is still Leo. But it's kind of, him not winning Smash Factor to me kind of marked the end of an era for me, because that was always the event he's the most comfortable at. It was the event he cared the most about winning, and if he cares the most about winning and isn't winning, that's not the Leo we know. I mean, he wanted to win Ludwig Smash Invitational and dropped again, and dropped a single game, and everyone said, oh, like, he was like, I'm the fucking best.
I'm sorry for being cocky, but like, dude, people really thought I wasn't the best, dude. Like,
right? And clearly at the time that was correct. But I'm not so sure if it is anymore. It's not even his character choice, right? It's not like he was just going Byleth and everyone's like, oh, but the Joker, but the Aegis, but the blah, blah, blah. His Aegis has lost recently. His Joker lost at Smash Factor. I mean, he was all Joker against Spargo and then mostly Joker against Gluto, and didn't work, right? I mean, he's gone Joker at Summit. Didn't work. I mean, it's beautiful. I love it. I'm still going to be like talking about some of those sets later this week, but it kind of just, I don't know, it's weird. And again, obviously this is no disrespect. The legacy of MKLeo is incredible, and I fully have faith that if he, he could definitely be back in peak form. It's not like he's never going to win an event ever again. I mean, people like me can win an event, and I'm currently not like in the top 100 players, right? In terms of like the official ranking, right? So there's plenty of people that can win a major, right? And Leok is definitely one of them. But it's just wild to me to know that MKLeo will not be the favorite going into several sets versus several players, and he's not necessarily going to be the favorite to win an event, even if he's going to be seeded top 4 or 5. That's kind of crazy to me. I mean, MKLeo, of course, a fantastic player, Joker, Byleth, Corrin, Eat, whoever he wants to play, right? It's still Leo. But currently he has to figure something out in terms of how to beat these upper echelons of players, and the players that are around the same level as him in terms of like Riddles and Light, who are like in the lower end of like 5 through 10 of the top 10. He's got to figure out a way to be more consistent against them, because consistently losing to players like Gluto and Light and Riddles is going to be a surefire way that you have a harder time in bracket. I mean, having to play one of those guys in loser's bracket is almost an inevitability. And of course, in winner's bracket, like, it's obvious, like, you're gonna run into Zomba or Riddles or Spargo or Tweak, and like you're gonna fight one of them, right? Because everyone fights one of them when you're trying to get into the top 8 at these super stacked tournament, even like Sonics or something, right? And he simply needs to be better in order to beat them, at least beat them consistently. So I don't know, again, it is kind of crazy to me that Leo didn't win Smash Factor. Like, I almost considered it an inevitability, not to discount, of course, Spargo, an amazing player, Sonic's an amazing player. I know those top 2, those were the top 2 of Smash Factor, and it was apparently insane. So it was like 3:30 where I was, and I was hella asleep by then. I don't know, it's so crazy to me that we live in a world where you can't really say Leo's the #1 player. There's not really an argument to be made for the past 6 or 7 months after Genesis. I mean, Genesis was his last big win, right? So it's weird. It's hella weird. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below, if you agree with me or disagree with me. Of course, again, MKLeo is legendary in so many ways, and I hope that he gets back into top 3, 2, 1 form. I love Leo being the best player, right? I think he's super fun to watch as the best player. I don't know, it's super fun in general to watch him play, and it's always fun to watch him play even when he's losing, but I just want it to be wins. I love Leo, and I love that he has been the best player for so long, and it's weird to see that kind of torch be thrown to someone else. And then, of course, there's a debate on who's catching that torch. I mean, obviously, if you're going to be talking about his Mexican brethren, you think Spargo, right? And then Acola just comes from across the Pacific Ocean like, I need to catch that torch. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you all with some Smash Factor breakdowns later this week. Peace.